All right, I'm back. So my phone, I turned the notifications off, but I'm streaming on my phone right now because my laptop's a piece of crap, and my one computer's upstairs, the other computer's downstairs, and I had a notification for a software update come through, and that interrupted the stream. So I'm gonna try to get back to the stream chat as it was. I'm not sure if it's processed enough to give me back all those comments that I missed. I don't even know how to get back to that. So I guess we're going to start over. Or no, we're not going to start over. But I was going to talk about some stuff I was talking about. Oh, we're facing the wrong way. Forgot to change that. Oh, whoops. There we go. Maybe. There we go. That was our kitchen. Yeah. So, yeah, Rip Boomer don't know how to camera. Yeah. See, I've got this. Yeah. Anyway, I was rushing. I was rushing to get the stream started again and forgot that I needed to flip the camera back the other way. And then when I was trying to get back to the other stream to get the chat to get all the questions that I'm sure that I missed. Now I was catching up. I probably need some coffee or something too. So I'm out of stuff. So I'm gonna maybe I'll put some coffee in the Kool-Aid mug. Well, as I don't drink the Kool-Aid. So, anyway. There's 12 ounce. We're going to find out. What? Oh, crap. It's not plugged in because you're an idiot. I had to unplug the coffee machine to plug my laptop in. And so now I can't coffee either. So I'm going to figure out something different. So, I don't really remember where I was talking about our staffers. And yes, there is the Discord for my channel. James can put it in there. Thanks, buddy. So I was talking about our staffers worrying more about keeping their contracts rather than giving anybody any useful information, either the customer or Storm. And so all of a sudden, I start saying these things, and people, yeah, that's happening to me too. Well, it's happening to me too. And all of a sudden, all kinds of people are coming out of the woodwork talking about stuff. And it's kind of like, okay, well, where was this before? Y'all have been saying, again, several people, yeah, I've been having trouble with this for like a year and a half. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to get in trouble. And it's kind of like, well, that's not, your job is to, if you have an issue, leave it up to them. Because some people have an issue. Every ball, there's going to be people with issues. It's just a natural production thing. And they judge whether it's an actual issue based on the amount of people giving them feedback. If have 10, 15 staffers having an issue with something, that's probably not a big deal. If you have 50, 75, 100 staffers having an issue with something, it's probably something to look into. But they don't know that there's an issue unless you tell them there's one. There's only so much they can do. It's just like these big companies that make video games or whatever. They can only look at so much stuff. They can only play test so much stuff. There's some certain issues they're not going to know about until it's out in the wild and they start getting feedback on it. So then they can adjust it. There's only so much that they can control at HQ only so much stuff that they can do before a release gets out there. And sometimes stuff's going to suck. Sometimes they have new tech and stuff just, the paradigm cracked a bunch of them cracked, but it was some new tech or some kind of something. It's like, well, okay, I guess that sucked. I guess we're not going to do that again. But they're not going to put out something like that that's going to have issues. They wouldn't put out, I mean, businesses are in business to make money. They're not going to put out terrible products unless they're, I say that, but there are companies that intentionally put out terrible products. And this is the problem that we have with staffers right now, is that everybody just wants to be on staff and they want a brown nose to keep their contract. That's why I do have a problem when somebody says, well, you can't be honest because you're a staffer, because I do get really, if there's one button to push with me, it's to challenge my honesty or integrity, because I'm honest about being honest. And honest people always, and people go out of their way to say they're being honest. That means they're honest. But that's kind of a thing with me. I'm a little too idealistic and, stupid about it, but I don't like the staffer label because of so many staffers I don't like that just try to, everything's the biggest new best ball, and somehow you throw a ball for 3 games and it's, this is already a staple in my arsenal. It's going to be here for a very long time. It's like, well, at least until the next ball comes out, then we'll see what happens. I need another drink. Give me a second. All right. I've got to have Kool-Aid looking stuff to put in the Kool-Aid mug. Sour watermelon ghost energy drink that I don't need energy. Caffeine actually doesn't really like me, but I really, really like sour stuff. And so, yeah, it's my vice. Okay, 2 vices. Yeah. So this is the problem, is that when we do have an issue, nobody's going to talk about it. And they didn't really know that nobody was talking about it until a few months ago. And that it's like, hey, we need your feedback. If you have feedback to give us the feedback, because otherwise we don't know this stuff. And I'd kind of stop there for a while, because it's like, well, every time I say something, I hear all these staffers talking about it. I say something to HQ, and then we just really haven't heard that from anybody else. I'm like, you're serious? And so then it makes me look like I'm just an anal whiner, which I am an anal whiner, but it makes me look worse. And so I'm like, well, I'm just not going to say anything anymore, because if everybody's just going to clam up and be worried about their contract, because being on staff is such a glorious, wonderful thing, then there's just no point in opening my mouth, because all it does is get me on the radar. It causes me a bunch of extra time and work talking to people, and then nothing ever gets resolved or changed because they don't think that there's an issue. So, woof. So the problem, another problem with this, is that they have so many people beating down their door to be staffers for nothing, that there is no way. I mean, sure, they'll give me equipment to review. It's at least worth sending me a ball or two to make a video for. I would think that they get their money's worth for that. But as far as from my perspective, it's not worth it for me at all, in any sense, any regard. I think this is going to be the first time our tax guy tells us this year that our business isn't losing money. Because there's enough stuff coming in, there's enough stuff that we're writing off that qualifies it as a business. But a business has to actually profit or make money at some point before the IRS goes, yeah, no, this is a hobby. It's not a business if you continually lose money doing it. It's a hobby. You can't write stuff off for a hobby. You can for a business, but the business doesn't make any money. So hopefully we come out ahead this year. Because I was supposed to say all that, but that's what it is. That's just what it is. You get far enough into it, it's expensive and time consuming enough that you have to justify it somehow. And again, so then I get significantly more patches added because I got to get, I get a sponsorship here. I got to do what I can to get the ad revenue going or get, the Bowler's Mart link. That's kind of where that came from. 5% is not a whole lot of money, but a couple $100 a month is better than not a couple $100 a month. And, the problem, let me answer some questions here. That's not that great of a segue. I used to be a hardcore video game alpha beta tester, and the hype of getting the game early always overshadowed the issues in that community. Yeah. You don't want to complain. You don't want to shoot the golden goose. Is there an example of balls you can talk about that people say are good but are not good? Recently, I can't think because we've been since I don't know, since the Phase 4 was bad. There's some people that like it. The Phase 4 was not good. The Phase 5 is marginal for me, but I can see I didn't use a layout that I wanted to use. And again, low RG, big R2S Pearl balls don't look good for me typically. That one's one that I can see it doesn't really work for me. It looks great for Angel and it looks great for a lot of other people. But we've really been putting out some good stuff for like the last year and a half. So I can't think the Supernova, maybe. It's a little all over the place. Like it's rolly like the Nova is, but it's also a lot stronger, but it's also a lot flippier. And so the combination of those things don't quite all gel or put it in a very usable spot very often. It's very long and sharp for how much it actually hooks to. And so I think more often than not, you end up fighting it a little bit more than it ends up like helping you. But once we got the Night Roads figured out, I really like that ball. It's a little too whippy for me to throw very often. The Infinite's really good. The Cosmos is really good. The Reality Check's good. The Dark Moss, I haven't really heard a whole lot on, but it was good for Angel. The Zen U's really good. That's been a pretty bright spot. The Fate's amazing. The Fate is absolutely ridiculously amazing. That's one that I want to keep around for a while. I throw the Fate all the time. I don't throw the Absolute as much as I want, and they're overhyping the living balls out of it for whatever reason. That's actually turning a lot of people off. It's one thing to kind of put out some interesting videos on your stuff. Like some of the videos were interesting until they kept coming out and coming out and coming out. And how many videos do we need on little individual things with Francois? Is he, it's going to take it to 2,000 grit. Well, let's make a different video and do this. And let's make a different video. And then we're going to talk about this. And we'll make a different video and talk about this. And then it's like there a dozen Absolute videos later. People are just not buying it on principle because they're like, why are they hyping this thing up so much? The Spectre came out with the phase or with the Nova, and the Phase 4 was announced a week before the Spectre came out. And the Spectre got overshadowed, but everybody really loved it until it got discontinued, and then everybody wants the Spectre back. It's like, okay, another phase, cool, people will buy it. Another Wolverine, cool, whatever, not that big of a deal. But everybody wanted the Spectre back. And then the Revenant comes out, we get the Revenant, but it comes out with the Absolute. And all they've done is talk about the Absolute for months now, and have barely even acknowledged that the Revenant exists. And I think it's getting to people, but the Absolutes, they're really overhyping it, but it's kind of deserving of it because it is one of those ASIM bowls that kind of splits the gap. It doesn't really, you can use it from straighter, you can use it from deeper. It kind of reminds me of the Hypercell Fused, but that doesn't go forward or really lock up. That whatever they did with that core really did kind of give it that blendy feel where it's got torque and stability and kind of that ASIM feel without like jerk stopping. So I think that one's the TNT. I think is going to be a little Zen Masterish. I think if there's anything, but people aren't really hyping the TNT up. That's the thing. I think it's a product of the core being a little too strong for the cover. Now I think it is going to be really good in certain situations, like a Zen Master. It's really good in certain situations for certain people, but I think you'll see that one being discontinued either by the end of the year or very early next year, January, February, something like that, if it makes it to 2024. The Eternity is really good. I don't like mine, but I think it's a case of I don't like mine, but it looks really good for everybody else. I haven't really seen any, but there's a couple of the reviews, though it looked like trash. But I think that was the Reactogloss thing. The people that I've seen the Eternity for in the real world seem to really like them. Again, I don't like mine. It just doesn't. It's too strong, too early, too chuggy. That's just not my type of. It's not my type of thing. So. I want to know what the deal is with the mixed reviews on the Dark Code, because some people said it was great and others said it was cheeks. The Dark Code is one of those that it's got a very, very strong core inside of an also pretty strong cover. And I think that's a product of you're going to like it or you're going to hate it type of deal. I really like both of mine, but I can see why that core is just so early that it's going to be doing things. It's going to be trying to do things that the cover can't keep up with. And REX is a weird cover anyway. It is really strong, but really long and flippy. And sometimes it wants to be strong, and sometimes it wants to really not do a whole lot of anything. And it's a weird cover. And generally speaking, I mean, the Infinite doesn't act like an REX cover. The Fate shares some similarities with the Dark Code, but without having that giant core in there. I think it works out better for the Fate because it just makes it ridiculously forgiving. I think that cover in general is very forgiving. But the core in the Dark Code is just so strong that it is trying to do things the cover can't keep up with. And I think that for the wrong bowler that drills it the wrong way, it could be an absolute dumpster fire. So hearing that somebody loves the Dark Code is not a surprise. Hearing that somebody thinks it's terrible is not a surprise. So yes, this gives guys like me that's been trying to get on staff with a company a bad name. I don't want to be on staff for free stuff or anything. I want to be on staff because the ball company fits my game. There are some people like that, and especially if you bowl tournaments, or you're a big tournament bowler, it does make sense because you do need to keep yourself in equipment. For the average bowler, the league bowler, whatever else, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Or for somebody that just wants to be on staff, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I think so many people just want to say that they're on staff because that's like a big deal or it's important or something. And so many people just that they'll do anything. They'll spend all kinds of time. They'll spend all kinds of money promoting somebody else's product for mediocre discounts on equipment. It's basically, for the vast majority of people, it's a rewards program. It's not, you're not a staffer. You're on a rewards program. And for the people that do put in a bunch of time and money, it's not really, I mean, again, I'm drowning in equipment. I don't need equipment. I need time and money, but they have so many people beating down their door that'll do more than me for less than they're giving me, that it doesn't make any sense for them to even give me what they're giving me in the first place. Sure, I think it's a pretty good deal. Bowling ball comes out, send me a couple of them, I make a review, sell a few dozen of them, whatever else, that's going to be a good deal for the company. There's no harm, no foul. But there's also lots of other people that are willing to do a whole lot more and, be a whole lot less honest because it did. If they send me a ball and I say, yeah, this thing gets slimy, or it's not really that great, that's not really going to help. They're still going to sell some bowling balls, just probably not from my video. But there's people out there that are going to say yes, this is great. This is the new great thing. This is the best IQ yet. This is going to be a staple in my bag forever. I sleep with one at night. There's going to be those people that are just going to talk the talk and hype the hype. And they're going to do it they're going to pay the company for the ball. They're going to buy the ball from the company in the first place just to hype it up and be all crazy about it. And it's like, okay, well, if you're in business and you have people beating down your door to spend their time and their money and buy your product from you to then turn around and advertise your product, are you going to say no? Like, it bugs me that I feel like I'm making the company a lot of money, and there's still some struggles there. But looking at it from the company's perspective, it's like, I mean, we're giving you stuff, and there's a lot of people beating down our door that would do more for less. So you're kind of fortunate to be in the situation you're in with the opportunity you have. They haven't said that to me, but I'm just trying to put myself from their perspective. Why would they want to give me anything more than they're giving me? It doesn't make sense from a business perspective. But yeah, I was a sponsored skateboarder back in the day, and it wasn't worth it despite the free stuff. So I don't ever really want to sign aligning it. Yeah, if I don't, and this gotten to the point where I've actually talked about it. But if whenever I'm done doing the YouTube thing and the staff thing or whatever else, I'm not signing with anybody else. I will be with Storm until I'm done being with Storm, and then I will never sign a contract with anybody else ever again, because it's not worth it. If you actually put forth the effort and do a good job and care about it and whatever else. Now, if you're single and you're younger and you don't have any other things going on, I feel like if it's something that you want to get into, and something, there's some of them that really put in a whole lot of effort and do stuff and spend their time and money doing it, but they're really into it. That's their hobby. That's what they do. They don't have a whole lot of anything else going on. I can see those kinds of people being happy with it, but generally the people that are happy being on staff are the ones that break the rules, take advantage of the situation, don't really do anything, and are just using it to get cheap equipment. So yeah, it's great. Well, if you're really that happy to be on staff and it's that great of a situation, you're probably not doing it right. I mean, that's just the reality. But for the other people, it kind of screws them over because the market is what the market is. I mean, if you decide you want to go work somewhere and you want $20 an hour and there's 10 other people behind you willing to do it for 10, it doesn't really matter how good you do the job at that point. They're looking at dollars and cents. Oh, I'm sure that I wouldn't have any trouble getting if I left Storm. I'm sure that I wouldn't have any trouble getting equipment. But that would the point of leaving Storm would be to step back and kind of be done with with the rat race. That would be the point. And so I'm not sure that I want to open myself up to getting equipment from elsewhere, because the real problem is that the whole ball review game. So, and if I am going to start doing this again, if this ever comes back to it, is that, the Bowler's Rant, Chris Beans, does the preview videos. So when they announce a ball, and he checks out the information and puts it into a video. I used to do that because I was doing that before he was doing that, because a ball would come out and then I'd have all kinds of individual messages. Hey, did you hear about this new ball? What's going on with this new ball? Whatever else. And it got to be really, really busy answering the same question individually in message after message after message. I'd spend a solid week just answering questions. Oh yes, this is the this new ball is this, that, and the other. And so I started making videos. Well, it turns out as soon as they announced something, the videos were really popular because some people don't understand if you're a bowling nerd, you understand when a ball comes out with R2S Pearl on it, you kind of know what you're getting. There's some people that don't have that kind of experience that don't really understand what that means. And so I would put the information, I'm like, I spent all this time answering all these individual questions. And so I'm just going to make a video when they announce something. I'm going to make a video with all the information in it and tell you where it's probably going to fit at. They don't really like us speculating, which is fine. And they don't like us promoting stuff that early. And so that's one thing that they did tell me to stop doing. And so I'm like, okay, I mean, I kind of get it, because there are a lot of people. If you let all these staffers, number one, they don't tell us anything early, like before they send us an email the night before they announce a ball. So if a ball is coming out, let's just say a ball's coming out Tuesday, they'll send us a ball they'll send us an email at like 7, 8 o'clock Monday night, because staffers are the absolute worst at leaking stuff. So they don't tell us anything. Most of the time the general public knows a lot more than the staffers do, because the staffers are just the worst. But if you let them, you said, okay, well, we announced it, you can talk about it, go crazy, whatever else. Well, they're going to talk about all the brand new stuff that just got announced that's like a month and a half away from being released. And then on release day, it's going to be crickets. They're already going to be moved on to the next thing. And so I understand from their perspective why they don't want us promoting stuff early, but it literally cost me several $1,000s in ad revenue and dozens of hours a year not being able to just put up these preview videos were to save me time. And then I found out, it was like, oh gosh, duh, of course they're going to be popular. But if I would stop doing ball reviews and would go back to just, if I got off staff and didn't have the balls to review anymore, just did the preview videos, just went back to doing that as soon as they announced something, and just say, hey, here's the information. That takes like an hour maybe to put that video together. An easy 10,000 views. I used to have preview videos that would get more views than the actual review video. And the preview video, I can hop on the website, I get all the information, read the tech data, design intent, whatever else, make myself a thumbnail, type myself up a little, oh, this ball has this core and this cover and does this and whatever else. Spend an hour doing that in the office upstairs, and I'm done. And that gets me as many views, if not more, than a ball review does, where I've got to get the ball, I've got to drill the ball, I've got to get everything fitting right, I've got to get all cleaned up, and I've got to pack all the equipment into the car, and then we drive to the bowling alley that's 35 miles away on only a Sunday morning, and then we're going to spend a couple hours filming, and then we're going to get something to eat, and then we're going to drive back home, and then I've got to download all that stuff, go get cleaned up, take a shower, whatever, get back up there, start chopping stuff up, spend the next 2 or 3 hours writing my review, spend the next 4 or 5 hours to maybe 8 building my review, and then a couple hours fielding questions after the review goes up to get 10,000 views. So I can either spend an hour making a preview video from the comfort of my office, or I can get 10,000 views spending 15 hours over 3 or 4 days making a ball review for it to get 10,000 views. So, yeah, I would say that for anybody, and I get when when people send in requests and say, hey, can you make this video? And as well, other people have made that video. It's like, well, yeah, I would like your spin on it though. And it's, God, that video exists though. And it's going to be a lot of work and whatever else. So I would like to make videos like that. But at the time, I would challenge people to just go to try to make your own. I know it's more efficient when you're already used to making videos and you have everything streamlined and everything is as efficient as it could possibly be. I would challenge somebody, go make your own ball review. Just go make your own ball review, and you'll figure out how quickly you just want to nope right out of that and never do it again. I'm late to the chat. What we talking about? We're talking about everything. Every damn thing. I need to go back and check out Rabbit Trails #1 before my phone shut me off. So that's the problem is that I'm not participating in the clickbait thing, so I'm losing a lot of views there. And then also being on staff comes with a bunch of restrictions and rules that really just beat down anybody trying to be successful on social media. Unless you're Daria. I am not Daria. So, unfortunately, yeah. So, anyway, if you're seeing this, now I've got to go back and fix the thumbnail and do all kinds of stuff since my phone kicked me off. That was great timing. But definitely go back and check out Rabbit Trails #1. This is longer than it's probably going to be. Most of the time, I'm pretty close to shutting it down here, but there has been a lot of good conversation and this nice therapy letting me complain and get stuff out there. But I feel like it's kind of interesting stuff, peeling back the curtain a little bit. And again, if any of this stuff gets me in trouble, I really don't care. I'm at the Ricky Gervais, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle stage of things where it's like, if anything, I'm just going to say what I feel like saying, and if it gets me in trouble, it just gets me in trouble. I don't really care. If I feel like talking about it, I'm going to talk about it. So I think, again, for anybody that wants to be on staff or that wants to, I would hope that I could inspire people to try to do it the right way. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time and expense and whatever else. But the whole point of doing it should be to help everybody out. I'm a little tired of how segmented the bowling community is and how many, I wish I'd never written that stupid article about when Big Mike put out his thing from Sweep the Rack, because now I follow the guys on Twitter and he's just more of a ball of energy than I can keep up with. But he does have some hot takes every once in a while, and it is kind of entertaining. I just don't have the energy for that. I don't want to argue with people that bad. I don't want to have issues all the time. I don't want to be in the middle of bowling industry politics and nonsense, because the bowling industry seems like it's filled with people who couldn't hack it in the real world, and now so they're trying to prop themselves up as somebody in the bowling world, and they're involved, but they don't really know what they're doing. And so it just ends up being a train wreck. And everybody somehow still thinks they're in their ivory tower somewhere, running the free world or doing whatever else. Just rejoined Stream Down again. Only once. So far. Unless I'm just not caught up yet to it shutting off again. So, I just can't keep up with the nonsense and all these different groups and all these, everybody arguing, and there's always drama. And this is the way it is everywhere else. People try to act like it's just the bowling industry, and it's really not. Anything that you get involved with at a higher level, it's people. It's people, but the problem is like Househag just said, the bowling industry is a ticking time bomb. The bowling industry can't sustain this stuff. If you're in like Call of Duty comes out every year and it's been garbage for like 5 solid years, barely functions, nobody plays it, but they keep making money off of it. They have the luxury to just go, we keep putting out trash and these idiots keep buying it. So yeah, why would we actually spend money and time making a good game? Let's just keep making garbage that says Call of Duty on it. If people keep buying it, we'll be fine. The bowling industry can't afford that. They can't sustain that. We already don't have enough people. And somebody made the observation to me, probably a decade ago. Maybe not that long. It's been a solid 6, 7, 8 years though. Saying, gosh, if we, there's several people that they knew that used to be big into bowling that didn't bowl anymore. It's like, man, if bowling is so bad right now that it can run that person off, or people that there's a lot of people in the industry that don't even bowl now. Like they get into the industry and the last thing they want to do is bowl. And that's kind of it's getting to me too, because again, I haven't been golfing but 2 or 3 times in the last few years. I said earlier on the other stream, I don't do normal people things. Like we don't do anything normal. It's we work, and then we work on YouTube stuff, and then we sleep, and that's it. I don't do anything else, and it's kind of getting to me. That's why I haven't put up a video in the last couple of weeks. We actually took our first, like, we had a weekend getaway to Colorado this last weekend where we visited some friends, with a side helping of bowling. But all the other trips we go on are bowling trips with a side of vacation in there, or with an excuse to get out for a few days. But it's still bowling centric. My daughter moved to Pennsylvania 4 years ago and got married, and we still haven't been there to visit them yet. They've been here. They at least make it down here every year, but we haven't had the time or the money or whatever else to get up to visit them yet. And there's a whole lot of other things that bowling. I didn't get to go watch her do anything in high school because I was always in the pro shop. So I would get text messages on my phone. So I didn't get to see my daughter do anything in high school because bowling. And it's just starting to get to me. So again, so for it to just further, to be involved in it, just to have the involvement be consistently negative, and to just see everybody else, not everybody else, that's not fair, see a lot of other people selling out, clickbaiting, whatever else. But at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, there's a lot of them that know it too. It's like, I mean, this is what gets the views. I mean, this is the only way that I can do this. I've got to do the clickbaiting stuff. I've got to do this, or I've got to do that, or whatever else, because that's what gets people to click on it. And if they don't click on the views, if they don't click on the videos, if I don't get these views, if I don't get this traffic, it's just not worth doing. And so they have to participate in the nonsense to keep the boat afloat. So I'm getting ready to back off the industry side of things, and just, it's so much more fun to just go bowl and not have to deal with the industry side of politics stuff. If I could get away from all that, that'd make me a whole lot happier, so I don't have to deal with all the political stuff and all that. I know, buddy. I know. Thank you. Yeah, be a professional bowler and make content full time. That would not be a bad way to go. Yeah, and that's the thing. I have so much fun. That's the point. I guess that was the point that I was getting to, rabbit trail. That it's just, I used to have a lot more fun bowling, like actually bowling. And this trip to Colorado, where we just practiced with some friends on a couple different patterns, I actually had fun bowling for the first time in years. I mean, literal years, because every single time I go, it's like, gosh, I don't want to, can we just stay home tonight? Last night, I just didn't have the energy to even go. So I stayed home from our scratch league last night because I just did not have the energy. I did not have the will. I had to take a break. And if it's so bad that I miss a league night, because I don't want to miss a league night, but it's just league. And we've got tournaments this weekend. We've got city tournament next week. Then we're going to Southwest in Wichita. And it's gotten to be a chore, and I don't want it to be a chore. I don't want to get on here and complain. I don't want to be, even though I've just ranted for like 2.5 hours solid, but I don't mean to get on here and complain. I mean to get on here, and there's a difference between complaining and being negative about everything because you just want to complain, or like just, oh, no, everything's fine, don't worry about it, and saying, okay, well, here's what the issues are. This is something I used to enjoy. This is something I want to enjoy again. I want to help others enjoy it and to stay away from the nonsense, but we have problems. These are problems that we need to talk about, that we need to address, so that we then end up with no problems. That to me is positivity. Not, criticism is not negativity. It's only negativity when you just want to whine and complain about something and you're not actively trying to find a solution, or you're not actively trying to fix the problems. I think I'm a natural troubleshooter, and I think that troubleshooting and problem solving is positivity. Because if you find and fix the problems, all you're left with is positivity. There's nothing There's nothing to overlook. There's nothing to try to be positive about. You've put the work in and you fix things, and now it's positive. So, so, um, what would be your hobby of choice to just unwind? I like writing. I have a fantasy kind of series of books that I've been writing, that I've been working on for like 25 years that I just don't have the time to do anymore. There's a lot of, and I like movies and shows just because I just not because I like being a couch potato. I like stories. So I like getting into stuff. The Reacher, Jack Ryan. I like a lot of fantasy stuff, Lord of the Rings, The Witcher, stuff like that. But I like the stories, and so that's really I read books a lot, or I used to read books a lot. Now it's just kind of reserved to nationals trips. The Wheel of Time series that the TV show is butchering. I don't get to play video games that much anymore, but I do like, again, stories more than anything. I play Overwatch or Call of Duty mostly now because it's something I can hop onto for like 30 minutes and get off. Whereas Final Fantasy, God of War, stuff like that, the RPGs, story games, stuff like that. I just like stories in whatever format they come in. So that's what I use to unwind, but I just don't get to really do that stuff anymore. And anybody that writes knows that you just can't write for like 30 minutes one day and then come back to it 2 weeks later. You have to have like dedicated blocks of time almost every day so that you can get into the story, get into the groove of things, and actually get some stuff out. But anyway, you ever read Stormlight Archive? I haven't gotten into it, but I have read. I like that Sanderson. I wasn't really into Sanderson before he finished the Jordan series, and then I was so impressed with how he finished that I did get into Mistborn, but I haven't gotten beyond that into Stormlight. But that's that's on the list. So anyway, thanks for. I'm probably going to cut it off here. Thanks for. Oh, damn. Okay, hold that thought for just a minute, Mr. D. Duval, with the 50 bomb here. I can't share that on the screen because I'm not on Restream. But I scaled back to one league, stopped side pots, and I'm on a team with my absolute best bowling friends. And even still, there's times I feel the burnout. But I will admit I am in such a better mood bowling now that I'm not super serious about it. So yeah, thanks, man. Big ups. Really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate it. And that's kind of what I want to get back to doing, is because somebody else made the comment that it seemed like I resented my viewers, or like I was kind of bitter and pissy all the time. And I noticed, I'm like, well, yeah, I have been getting really short with people in comments. Some of those things is, I don't think that, I'm not a big fan of willful ignorance. Like, ignorance is a thing, and people use that to mean stupid too. But all the word means is you don't know something. Ignorance is just not having knowledge about something. It's not a bad word. People use it as a bad word. But I do get torqued sometimes when people ask me things that they could have gotten from Google, or, my gem video still blows me away. And I don't know why I should have to be nice to these people. But my gem video, somebody got on there and asked me, how does the gem compare to the reality and the proton physics? The back, like 7 or 8 minutes, the back half, 7 or 8 minutes of that video was a dedicated comparison of the gem to the reality and the proton on two different lane conditions. And they're going to drop down into the comment section after I spent 15 hours putting that video together, from drilling the ball to filming to editing to assembling to whatever else. They got on there. They obviously didn't watch the video, or just wanted me to give them the short version. So after I put in all that work and spent $75 making the video to begin with, put in all that work, spent the time, spent the money, and then they want me to give them an even shorter version in the comment section. So I'm supposed to put even more work in to give them a shortcut on a video that they can watch for free. I don't really feel like I should have to be nice to those people. So, damn. Andrew, $20, man. Damn. Thanks. Stop being nice to people. I will stop being nice to people. But I mean, some people deserve. I've actually had a fair amount of people where if I'd have just, you know, gone right back at them, or just threw it back in their face or something, there were some that were just legitimate. Somebody didn't know, or that somebody misinterpreted something, or they misheard something, or thought something different, and by me responding kindly to them, it helped prevent an issue or help resolve something for them. And a lot of the time they end up, oh, I didn't know. So I think sometimes I do want to err on the side of being nice to people, but if it's, God, if it's in the video and you ask me a question about it, I've already spent a crap load of time putting that video together. Please watch the video. Sometimes people miss stuff though. Like I miss stuff. My videos are so complicated and so over the top most of the time that I had to upload my Revenant video like 3 or 4 different times because I kept missing errors in my video that I built myself. So if I'm missing them, I swear other people are going to miss them too. So I've got to be fair that direction. But yeah, they're conditioned to run to the comments or skip to the end if the machine at work. Yeah, it's just what it is. So yeah, stop being nice to people. Oh, Mr. Duval and Nasiak, Andrew Nasiak. The K is silent, as in Niffin, I'm sure. Maybe it's Kanasiak. Sometimes weird stuff like that happens. My last name looks like Rossdahl, and it's Rosedahl. I guess there used to be an E in it at some point, so I skipped to the end of this live chat. That's really what I need to do, because on the other one, the K is pronounced Kanasiak. Okay. I think that's Kanasiak, I would say. Interesting. Kanashuk. Okay. Well, that makes more sense. So, yeah. Yeah, my last name is, if people say Rosedahl or Rossdale or Rossdahl or whatever else, that's close enough. I should do that more often, than that way I wouldn't be answering questions an hour after people asked them, because I chase rabbit trails. But that's just what this is going to be. So we're just gonna get into it and go. Hopefully this will be interesting later. Just call me Bozo. Yeah. Hopefully this will be interesting later if you're not watching this live. I am not going to have any real kind of schedule for this. It is going to be on Fridays at noon, whenever it happens. It's not going to be a weekly thing. It's not going to be a bi-weekly thing. It's not going to be a monthly thing. If I feel like it, I might do another one next week. If there's a lot of people that are into it, I might do it every week. I might do it every other week. I might do it once a month. I might do it every other month or something. It just really depends on when the mood strikes, or if I have something to talk about, or if people like doing it. This is a whole lot easier than putting a video together, and it could be a whole lot more helpful, because that way we can talk about real stuff instead of, I've actually thought about going back to doing live ball reviews, so to speak. Like I'll just talk over it. I'll just put the video up on repeat. The only thing is it's a little buggy and glitchy sometimes with streaming the video. It can kind of get the frame rate can kind of suck, but I could just play that on repeat. I did that with the Phase 4 actually. I did an interactive comparison where but it's hard for people to want to go back and watch that as like an hour-long thing. So I'm still trying to work with the YouTube efficiency, but it would be a whole lot better if I could just hop on and live stream something and say, okay, I'm just going to put this stuff on repeat and we can talk about it, and then I'll switch to another ball and we can talk about that. But the view quality suffers a little bit. So I'm still working stuff out. This helps break up tax season grind. Yeah, we're about to go get our taxes done here in a couple weeks. So, anywho, how about kind of league videos where you're just drinking beer, bowling, and BSing? Yeah, I've still got to make sure. And I probably shouldn't have said half the stuff I said today, but again, if I get canceled, I really don't care. But having the contracts such as the contracts are, it they don't exactly place specific limits or restrictions on what I can say or what I can't say. There's plenty of things that they would rather I don't say. They don't want me talking bad about the staffers, I'm sure, and they don't want me, saying that I don't really like some of the policies and rules and stuff. Are contracts yearly? Yes, they are. For most of my last one was 2 years. This one that I signed this year is just a single year. But I think they're trying to do some different things with the social media staff. They're trying to figure out some different, because we don't really fit anywhere. They can't exactly give us a pro shop staff because we're not in a pro shop. They can't exactly. I'm an amateur staffer. But that doesn't really quite work out either, because then I'm kind of bound to one brand, so everything has to be Storm. Like, it's got to be Storm bags, Storm logos, Storm, whatever else. I think it'd be a whole lot more worth it to people, or worth it to the company, if I could advertise all the brands under their umbrella, of course. I didn't realize Kansans have Southern accents until I started watching you and Haas. Just watch some Nick Brown and Kenan McFalls. Talk about some Southern accents. This is kind of what I call my good old boy voice, because I used to say that I could wear several different hats in a pro shop. I can have my kind of good old boy drawl, and I can have my kind of annoying nerd voice. I'm just naturally a very dull, boring person, though. So, anyhow, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks again for all the donations. It's very, very appreciated. And again, I don't mean to get on here and whine and talk about how bad the situation is so people give me money. But I mean, like, if this is what's going to happen, I can make it work out. Just saying. But I really do appreciate the fact that people appreciate it enough to send a stranger on the internet money. Anything helps. It's appreciated. It's more just the gesture, I think, of people actually going through the process and steps of sending something. The money definitely helps. It's definitely appreciated. But I feel the love. And it makes it better. Your comments that SPI may not like it increases your credibility. How can the company not like when their reps are honest? Yeah, and I think that they do kind of, and again, that's why I've said they don't say anything to me. They just don't. I mean, they haven't tried to. Now, they have recently started not so much giving the staffers talking points as saying, these are the things that we want you to talk about in your review, but these are not specific things we want you to say in your review. Like, people want to know about the layout. They want to know about the lane surface. They want to know about the conditions. They want to know about the ball surface. They want to know your stats. They want to know your positive access point, things like that. They are nudging the staffers towards giving people better information. So I think that's a positive, if anything. So again, they're coaching them, but they're not coaching them on exactly what to say. They're coaching them on talking points, or these are the things that you should be talking about in your reviews, not, oh my God, it goes long, it hits hard, and it does this. It's like, well, no, give people actual information. Don't just do I think they're finally figuring out that people are just working the system to keep their contracts. So yeah, Nick Brown must be a transplant. I grew up in Virginia Beach and don't recall many people with that accent. James grew up in North Carolina, and he doesn't sound anything like how I thought he was going to sound. Long overdue on the super chat. The advice you provided over the past 3 years has been extremely appreciated. Yeah, thanks. It's appreciated. Very, very appreciated. Because again, I very rarely sent money to people on the internet, so I get it. All right, any last questions? I am just about finished with my beverage. And I'm probably not going to work on any videos this afternoon, but I do have some, and I might just. Parents are both from the Midwest, and there aren't a ton of people with proper Southern accents in central North Carolina, where I grew up. So, okay, I don't know. Everything south and east, just. My sister-in-law is from New York, and she sounds like she's from New York. Not Jersey, New York, but like non-Italian New York. So, if there's any last questions you all want to get in before I take off here, I might just do a few of these things to see what happens. I mean, I'm trying to be efficient with this whole video thing, but this seems like a whole lot more fun, even if the video quality is not that great, or if I've got to play clips through a few times because they're stuttering a little bit. Well, I'm from Jersey, and most New Jersey, they don't sound like you see on TV. Yeah, I would imagine so. There are actually trees in Kansas too, by the way. That's my sister-in-law got here, and they asked her. Everybody from back home is, gosh, they have trees out there. I hear it's just all pastures and cows, and it's like, no, we got trees. We do have plenty of pasture and plenty of cows. We also do have trees. So, more of a comment. What I appreciate your videos is the rewatchability. That's why I feel set you apart from other staffers. Ball reviews, classroom series, by far my favorite. I think that's just what I'm going to have to do. This is a whole lot more fun than making a video and then just like kind of talking with people after the fact. It does suck when I do something live and people can't catch it live and then they have to kind of watch it again, or they just watch it rather than being able to participate. But I think if I do like report cards and reviews and whatever else just live, and if the video quality suffers a little bit, it just suffers. That way I can talk to people, I can answer questions live, I can still get my talking points in. It's not very efficient for YouTube because I don't know a whole lot of people. They're going to watch an hour and 15 long minute ball review, which is what they're going to turn into being. But whatever. And good barbecue, yeah. It was kind of funny when we went to Syracuse for Nationals a few years ago, because there's this place called Dinosaur Barbecue that's really popular there, and so we kept trying to get in there because we wanted to see how it really stacked up with Kansas City barbecue, and the wait was always like 30, 45 minutes, and it's like, okay, well, we're just, thank you, pig, squeaky pig. But we had some other people that did actually wait for it and said, it is pretty good barbecue. It's on par with what we have in Kansas City, but it's good barbecue. It's not outstanding, but for New York, it's good stuff. So yeah, we do have good barbecue. Discovered you, thanks for your videos. Discovered you when I got a High Road X a few months ago after getting back into bowling after a 9 to 10 year hiatus. I have a lot of those people that have been getting in touch with me. They getting back into bowling and just trying to catch people up. I had somebody trying to replace a Rain On the other day, and that ball's like 10 years old. And that's the trick with that is, well, it doesn't react now like it did when you bought it. So I can give you a current replacement for how that ball would have originally been when you bought it, but trying to replace the reaction right now, as it stands right now, gets a little murky and tricky. So, favorite place you've ever been and why? I have always been in the country. I have never gone outside the country. Branson's probably our favorite place. We got to go into Denver, Colorado Springs this last weekend. It was a lot of fun. We've been through there plenty of times. Oh, balls. Software. Did we just stall? Oh, okay. I thought I got another. The screen started spinning on me. It must be my feed. I thought that my. Yeah, it's probably my freaking laptop. So, not my phone tripping out. I hope it's not my phone tripping out. Yeah, Storm Invasion, Ebonite Mission, Vivid. Yeah. I'm from Chicago and I love Branson. It's absolutely beautiful out there. Yeah, we like to Branson. So when we go, there's a tournament called Greater Ozarks. It's in Springfield. I think it's 80 years now. It's the largest participant uh, tournament in the country that's not nationals. Like USB Open Championships is still the biggest, but Ozarks is next. It runs for like 3 or 4 months, and they only do it on weekends, but it runs for several months. And so we always spend an extra few days in Branson, and we got our whole everything worked out. It's just an amazing place down there. What country you would like to visit? What country would you like to visit given the chance? I'd like to go over to Europe somewhere. I always thought it was interesting when I was talking to Verity, and she's talking about going to France and Belgium and Germany and these different places bowling tournaments. And I'm like, wow, you get to go to all these different countries. And it's like, well, I mean, going to different countries over there is kind of like just going to different states here. It's like, I mean, we drove to it's from where I'm at right now, it's 400 miles west to Colorado. I mean, so 400, you drive 400 miles in Europe somewhere, and you're probably in another country, if not two different countries. So, SJ Philly is pork roll. Interesting. Bowling fans. So what country, I'm Swedish and German. I came out Irish somehow. I would like to go to Sweden. Germany, maybe. I would like to go to Europe. Or yeah, England. I mean, England, Europe. I did ask. There's a lady that works for my brother at the brewery, who is Chinese, but she grew up in England, so she speaks Mandarin and has like the perfect Travelocity Orbit Gum voice. It's fabulous. And so I asked her, what's the difference between England, Great Britain, and God, they call it something else over there too. And she had to Google it because she's like, yeah, that's you know. Have several different names for England over there. Anyway, so yeah, I would like to visit Sweden. I think is probably Sweden, Finland. That's kind of on my list. Japan is huge on my list. I like Japanese culture. Real sushi. Yeah, Ireland is another place. I've got a buddy that I work with that I used to work with that is Irish, and he's told me so many Ireland stories that I'm like, I just can't. If I go to Ireland, I can't ever say that I've gone to Ireland or say that I'm interested in going to Ireland, that I am going, that I ever went. I just can't tell him. I can't, because I'd never get away from him ever again. But yes, Ireland would be. Oh yeah, the UK. Yeah, what's the difference between England, Great Britain, and the United Kingdom? England, Great Britain, United. Yeah. England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland are all in the UK, and then there's Ireland. And Northern Ireland are all in the UK, and then there's Ireland. Yeah. That's one of the questions I forgot to ask Verity when I had her on. But yeah, Brazil. I've never been out of the country, unfortunately, so don't have the time to get out of the country. But yeah, I don't really know which state has the bigger bowling community. It is huge in the Kansas City area. Iowa, South Dakota, or Minnesota. I may have to move out there for work next summer. Would be coming from Vegas, so I'm sure in for a huge change. I think most people that do move out here. I know a lot of people that somehow end up in Topeka, and they're from everywhere. They're from Georgia, they're from Arkansas, New York, California, wherever else. Somehow they all end up here. Kansas City is huge, and I think James, if he's still in here anywhere, James can tell you that the bowling community is huge from out where he came from, because he came from Raleigh, North Carolina, and had UBA stuff all over on the East Coast and whatever. And that bowling scene is huge, but the quality, it's also pretty big here, and the quality is just second to none, because we got Wichita State 2 hours down the turnpike. We've got the Kansas City community. We got Omaha's 3 hours away. Like I said, Wichita is 2 hours away. St. Louis is like 4 hours away, and that's a pretty big community too. So we draw from so many areas in this kind of Kansas City area that going to a regular sweeper is about like a regional stop. I don't, it's just kind of, we went to go see one of the regionals. They had that PBA stop in Wichita a couple weeks ago, and then they had that same weekend they had a regional in McPherson, which is 50 miles ish from Wichita. And so we went and watched the regional, and I knew half the people bowling the tournament, and so we just hung out and watched it because they're the same people that bowl our sweepers too, just our regular sweepers. And half the people were there bowling the regional, so it's just like we're gonna go. That's why we went and watched it, because we had so many friends bowling. So, yeah. So, we've got access to so many. I mean, Tulsa, Fire Lake in Shawnee, Oklahoma. I think Shawnee, Oklahoma. That's like 4 hours. It's just everything. Well, that's another big help is that here in Topeka, I am like 2 hours from the geological center of the United States. So being centrally located is a big thing. I think if you had, if you're from Vegas, there's not a whole lot of real estate out there. I mean, there's a lot of people in California, but then they've got plenty of bowling alleys, and I don't know how big the bowling scene actually is, but we've got so much more real estate. And there's so much less to do here. Like I feel like in California, Vegas, it's so packed, it's so dense. There's so many other things for people to do. I think that's what the thing is it's not exactly boring here, but yeah, Omaha's another city they may send. Yeah, Omaha'd be great. Yeah, there's scratch leagues here in Wichita that play like regional stops. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You got leagues down there, Packy and Spencer and Brian Barnes, all the Wichita State kids. So T.J. Rock and Brandon Bonner, Nick Sommer, Packy's down there again, and then there's all the people that you don't know about. Brad Miller's from Kansas City, Kyle Sherman's from St. Louis. Then there's a bunch of others. Kevin Williams is from Springfield, and these are all just right here. And then Nebraska's in Lincoln, which is 3-4 hours away. So it's just a huge area for all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we've got multiple ITC championships and 5 or 6 Eagles in our Thursday scratch league. Yeah. Yep. So, all right. I'm going to get off here. The dogs are woofing at me. And, yeah, Brad Martin Franz, your 2023. Oh, what's up? Mr. Caribbean here. Brad Martin Franz, your 2023 Masters champ. Yeah, baby. So, I think I'm going to. I said this 30 minutes ago, but this is just so much fun, it's hard to get off. If I can just sit here and drink stuff and talk at a camera and people actually watch and pay me money, I hang out here all day. Yeah, millennial. That's Josh. That's. Yep. So. Yeah, we got a lot of the top Vegas guys for our tournaments here in SoCal. Yeah, Mr. Stabby. Thanks for what I do for the bowling community. Thanks. Yeah, he's okay sometimes. Dash, however, is amazing. Big fan of Dash. I mean, I need to meet Dash someday. Wrong drink. That didn't have anything in it anymore. All right. Yeah, I need to get out of here. And we do have he's barking at me right now. He wants my 5-layer. I'd bark at you for a 5-layer too. Yeah, we got league tonight, and this league's a lot of fun. It's just kind of a beer drinking league that we got all kinds of people in, and it works. We got people that average pretty high, and not. I mean, we've got a pretty stacked team ourselves, but there's some other people in the league that have shot 300s, 800s. But everybody gets hammered every week, and it's just a fun league, and I would rather. That's probably one of the more fun things that I do. So, all right, thanks everybody. Once again, thanks for the donations. It's very appreciated and quite humbling, actually, that you'd send a stranger on the internet some money. And yeah, I think there's some big thing. There's some maybe not some big things, but some big changes coming. So I think we are. I was gonna try the live streaming thing, and I thought, well, the video quality is gonna suffer, and nobody's gonna want to watch a hour long review later. But we might just try it and see if it works. I might have to play things through a few times, but having the kind of live comms and talking to people, and this is a whole lot more fun than just kind of slaving away making videos and then just kind of chatting people up in the comments. So, all right. Thanks, y'all. We will see you next. I'll bring Dash to the next Aaron's or Summit tournament. I'm out of commission. Yeah. I saw your hip nonsense. Insurance for the win. So hopefully you get all that figured out and that all works out. And yeah, we will. Yep. See you, Jonathan. We've got a pair of tournaments. We got doubles and singles tournament on Saturday, Sunday at Royal Crest, and again we've got a city tournament next week. Then next weekend we have Southwest and Wichita. Then we go to Nationals 10th and 11th of April, and then Springfield the first weekend of June. I think there's some other nonsense in there too. So, yep, I gotta get dogs out here and see you in Wichita. Oh yeah. I think I don't know if you're bowling. We're bowling with Keelers. Is Brad bowling in our? Oh, you're going for the pizza? Yeah, good idea. So, okay, yeah, okay. That's what I thought. There's so many people. He is. There's so many people in that group, and that I just kind of tell. I don't really pay much attention anymore. I tell Linda to sign me up, and I just what do I need to send you, and I send it to her, and then I see who we're bowling with when I get there. So, all right. That'll do it. Thanks everybody. I'm out. This is the last. I'll see you next time on some other kind of something. And since I can't get one of the dogs to shut it off, I got to walk around and shut it off. So thanks everybody. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. Thanks for listening to my ramblings and nonsense. And we will see you next time. Trot, 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 trot. Camera's going off, and it's going to wiggle, and the dogs are going to go nuts. Bye.